back to Cooking with Noey. I really appreciate it. Today we're going to be making red velvet cheesecake with Oreo bottom instead of graham crackers. I'm super excited. So yeah, stay tuned. So, like I said, today we're going to be doing red velvet cheesecake, and we're going to be talking about an article in Admiral Byrd. Now, I don't know how far you guys are in the conspiracy world, and if you're new, I'm sorry, but this is going to be a very much overload. And a lot of the things you can look up online, they're actually facts. So, that's a plus. To start off, let's talk about Admiral Byrd, right? So, Admiral Byrd is a world famous, or was, because he has sadly passed, but he was a world famous, explorer. And he was also in the Navy. And he had a couple of adventures going into Antarctica, but he's most famous for being able to visit the North Pole, I believe. North and South Pole. He's been to both. So, I believe so. So, he's pretty, out here doing the thing, doing what he do, or whatever, have you. Now, it's said that he was made to look crazy after what I'm about to explain. So in 1974, they did an expedition to fly to the North Pole. But instead of them flying to the North Pole, Admiral Byrd in his diary basically says that they flew into what we now know as inner Earth. And he saw lakes and rivers and all types of different stuff that would be like on the surface of Earth or whatever. And pretty much when he got there, like when he finally flew, I want to say it was like 7. So once he flew in, all those miles, and he was greeted by things that he said looked like flying saucers. And then he was also met by the people of what's called Argatha, and I'm so sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but basically they advised him that he was allowed to enter into Earth because of his high moral character and his ethic. Him being a genuinely good person, there was somebody that they can trust, so they allowed him to enter. So that's pretty cool. You have been being looked at by these other people that you don't even know exist, and they choose to tell you something because you are genuinely a good person. You know what I'm saying? So after he's met by these people, these people are huge. They're tall. They look very strong, very muscular. They are essentially giants, okay? And they don't speak verbally. They're speaking telepathically. They have advanced in technology so far that they don't even have to speak verbally, which is pretty cool if you ask me, because if I didn't have to talk to people, I wouldn't talk to people. But anyways, so they meet him, they greet him, they welcome him, tell him where he is. The name of this place, if I have said it before, is Argatha, okay? And they kind of take him and his companion, they let them rest. And then after they let them rest, they tell him that he's gonna go meet with the leader of the people. So once he talks to the leader of this inner world, or whatever you want to call it, he basically tells him that, we're gonna send you back. He kept his cool. Reading his diary, he stated that after this, they were allowed to leave. And, once they got into their plane, they assisted them with leaving. So they were able to guide them on how to get out. I don't even know what to call it, like not even telepathically, like they were able to lift the bird up without him having to touch any of the controls or anything like that. But essentially they guided him out, and they could hear each other over the intercom once he got to a certain point, they told him that, you know, hey, we're gonna let go now. You can go. Admiral Byrd and his compadre, I don't know, I would be a little like, not freaked out, but more so like really intrigued and wanting to stay, because I would want to learn more. I would want to know like who these people are, where they came from, things like that, whatever. So Admiral Byrd came back. He had to go, he went to a meeting with the government, of course, and he was told that he needed to stay quiet because they didn't want anybody else figuring this out. Now, we all know that every time the government says to be quiet about something, that means that it's probably true. So they hushed him. They told him to be quiet. And his diary wasn't, you know, released until after he passed, because in the diary, he specifically says, you know, the things that I've witnessed, I feel like they need to be known by mankind, because the government has told me that I needed to not say anything. But before I leave this earth, and he knew he was dying. So before I leave this earth, I want to tell you guys like what's up. Tell us what's up, Byrd. Of course, his discovery was put out. It was put out in National Geographic and the Flying Saucer magazine, but every single, and it was a detailed, like basically almost just like his diary, but a detailed explanation of everything that he did. There's not a copy. National Geographic and the Flying Saucer, either the government bought, stole, and completely destroyed every single copy of both of these magazines that kind of explained everything. Like, what are you trying to hide, friends? Secret government? So I think that there's something there, because planes can't fly over the North Pole. South Pole either, I don't think. They can't fly over the poles in general. And there's also an Antarctic treaty signed by everybody, like all the countries. Nobody can go there. The only people that can be there are like scientists or people that are government officials. So allegedly the place where they were, of course, we already have established that it's called Inner Earth, and there are multiple ways to get to it, including Antarctica, North and South Pole, also in Tibet. Also the Great Pyramids of Giza, almost said that wrong. And then a couple of other places, but those were the ones that I really was able to find. It said that the capital is located near Tibet, and they're able to communicate with the Dalai Lama through those tunnels, because the Dalai Lama is pretty much like their representative on Earth, to be able to overlook everything and let them, you know, guide them and let them know what's going on and things like that. That's pretty decent. We already know that there's secret tunnels. I mean, come on. Those are topics for another time, but we know that there's secret tunnels. Go ahead. Yep, nod with me. Yep, pretty much. There are other accounts of people going into Inner Earth that are not scientists, you know? I read, and I'll put the link below, but I read somewhere that a Norwegian man and one of his friends decided that they were gonna go boating for a few months. So they packed enough food and they just went boating from the Arctic Circle. And after a month, they realized that they came upon something which they didn't know what it was then, but it was Inner Earth. Mind you, they're in a place where it's supposed to be cold all the time, well, majority of the time, you know, and it was warm weather. They said it didn't get anywhere. It was like 70, it was comfortable. There was tons of vegetation. There was animals, there were people, there were homes, and they had like, not like a light rail, but like kind of like a light rail that went from place to place. You know, these are things that they're seeing, and what they were on turned into a river, and they were able to see it. In the story that I read, it said that they stayed there for about a year, and after that year, they allowed them to leave. Not that they wouldn't let them leave before, but you know, they wanted to learn, because that's me. If I was to come up across something like that, I would want to learn. I would want to stay, you know, and I'm interested. Like, I want to know about what's going on, because you can't. First of all, there's no way that any of us think that we are the only species. We are not the only species here. And then also, it's just cool, like, to know if it does exist, that there is something out there that's a lot more advanced than us. From a personal perspective, I think it's like really crazy that every time somebody finds something out that the government doesn't want us to know, they deem them as crazy. I don't think these people are crazy. I just think that they know more than what the government tells us. And if the government doesn't want to tell us because they're afraid we can't handle it, how about you try it? Some people are more open than you think. That goes for all situations. But there is a book that if you want to read it, it is called The Smoky God, I think. Yeah, that's right. The Smoky God is talking about another account of somebody going into this area, going in inner earth pretty much. And also, you can do a Google search to find Admiral Byrd's diary. But I'll tell you, I found it, I read it, it was a PDF somebody had posted, and now it's gone. The webpage is not even there, so kind of suspicious. But anyways, I think this topic is pretty cool. If you guys want to talk about it more, definitely let me know. I will be posting the recipe that I used today underneath in the show notes. Also follow me on all social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Is there another one? TikTok. Follow me on all social media platforms. And if you enjoyed this, then hopefully you come back for episode 3. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I will be posting pictures of how this came out.